Jesus. People, I heard you like basketball. Oh. Oh. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Kunjabi Hari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Vrajachanarandana Jasodhanandana Vrajachanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Vrajachanarandana Jasodhanandana Vrajachanarandana Jamanatira Vanachari No Jamanatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivijagacharya Astatara Sasi Srimad His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Ananta Koti Vaishnava, Premanandi. You're in for a real treat tonight. I'm going to continue with Canto 10, Chapter 11. It's a long chapter, but especially because we have a few boys here, you're going to get to hear Krishna killing a demon. Yay! Vatsasura. Vatsasura. What do you know about Vatsasura? Do you remember? Vatsasura. Not exactly. Kind of, but not exactly. A cat. He disguised himself as a cat. But actually he was a big demon. There's a ringback in this sound system. Can we do something about the ringback? That's a little better. That's much better. Thank you. So a little background. Krishna has entered Vrindavan because for 3 years and 4 months he was in Gokula. But the elders, headed by Upananda, being inspired by super soul within his heart, did what Krishna wanted him to do. What Krishna wanted to do? Go to Vrindavan. So guess what? Everybody went to Vrindavan. The pretext was 3 things. Demons, trouble, we have to protect the children. Let's go to the other side of the river Jamuna. So there are 3 things that Krishna wanted. He wanted to be by the side of the river Jamuna. He wanted to be with Govardhan. And he wanted to be in the Vrindavan forest. What Vrindavan forest means, all of his loving eternal associates there who manifested their forms to assist him in his pastimes, and he wanted to reciprocate with them, and so he did. So when 3 years, 4 months. How old is this young girl? What's her age? Just turned 2. She's already playing basketball. You're a special athlete here. Well, Krishna was 3 years, 4 months, and what we heard is he was playing. He with his cowherd boyfriends. They explored Vrindavan and different things, and there's a detail which we're going to read shortly. That's like the special prize at the end of today's class, where the Krishna's beginning to herd the calves is described. But so we're on text 41 of chapter 11, and Krishna is going to one of those 3 places: Govardhan, the forest of Vrindavan, and the banks of the Jamuna River. So the word in the Sanskrit here is Yamuna Tire. Sounds familiar, right? the banks of the river Jamuna. Kadachit, sometimes. One day, while Rama and Krishna, along with their playmates, were tending the calves on the banks of the river Yamuna, another demon arrived there, desiring to kill them. And there's only very short report commentary. Jiva Goswami writes, this describes a particular incident. Generally, they played near Vatsa Kridanaka Sthana. We're going to hear that phrase again. Vatsa is a calf, right? Vatsa Kridanaka. Krida means like pastime. Vatsa Kridanaka Sthana and Bhakta Kridanaka Sthana near the Jamuna. They played with their intimate Sva-Kai friends. They're objects of great affection. The demon showed his hatred by interrupting the bliss of their pastimes. Sanatana Goswami writes, this describes a particular incident. Swa-Kai means their friends or those who gave happiness to the boys. Thus it means those friends were most dear. Va-Yai indicates that the other boys were about the same age. He would necessarily kill the demon to please the boys. Text 42. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead saw that the demon had assumed the form of a calf and entered among the groups of other calves, he pointed out to Baladev, "Hey, here's another demon." Then he very slowly approached the demon as if he did not understand the demon's intentions. Purport, and this is Prabhupada. The import of the word Mugdha Iva is that although Krishna knows everything, here he pretended that he did not understand why the demon had entered among the calves, and he informed Baladev by a sign. Vishwanath writes, with a glance of his eye he informed Balaram, Darshayan, and pretending that he did not know Mugdha Iva, Krishna approached Asadat, the demon. Jiva Goswami writes, he mingled with the calves, disguised as a calf out of fear. He was sent forcibly by Kamsa because Putana and others had been killed. We're going to hear some details. Krishna is called Hari because he takes away the life of the demons and attracts the devotees. He also takes away the suffering of the demon by liberating him. Krishna looked at Balaram to indicate the demon in order to have fun with him. Text 43. Thereafter, Krishna caught the demon by the hind legs and tail, twirled the demon whole body very strongly until the demon was dead, and threw him on the top of a kapita tree, which then fell down along with the body of the demon, who had assumed a great form. Purport. Krishna killed the demon in such a way as to get kapita fruits to fall, so that he and Balaram and the other boys could take advantage of the opportunity to eat them. The kapita is sometimes called kshatbel pala. The pulp of this fruit is very palatable. It is sweet and sour, and everyone likes it. Makes you want to try one out, right? Vishwanath writes, grasping the hind legs of Vatsasura along with his tail, Achyuta, who does not fall, threw the demon high into the Kapita tree to arrange for his fall, Chuta, in the material world. Throwing his body in the tree was useful in their play for making the Kapita fruit fall from the tree, whirling him around until he was dead. Gata Jivatam, he threw him in the tree. Pra, Hinot, Jiva Goswami. He grabbed the demon. So he saw the tail, since he held him by his hind legs. Or he grabbed his tail along with his hind legs and twirled the demon around. He threw him on top of a Kapita tree, since the fruits would fall and they could be used for throwing in games. Because previously it mentioned that's something that they did as part of their play. Where they're playing, and here comes a demon. Though he twirled the huge body around, Krishna did not move from his place. Achyuta. The demon with a huge body fell down on being killed because his illusory power disappeared. He showed his huge bodily demoniac form. It was mentioned that the Kapita fruit also fell because later, in chapter 26, this is chapter 11, in chapter 26 it is said, Krishna killed the demon and using his body knocked Kapita fruits down from the trees for use in playing. The word ha expresses astonishment that the small boy could throw the huge demon against the huge tree. In text 44, upon seeing the dead body of the demon, all the cowherd boys exclaimed, "Well done, Krishna, very good, very good. Thank you." In the upper planetary system, all the demigods were pleased, and therefore they showered flowers on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No purport from Prabhupada. Here's Jiva Goswami. The boys were amazed at the huge size of the demon and how easily Krishna killed him. They praised him because they could not really understand how it happened. And because he had killed an invincible demon, they repeated the word sadhu, sadhu, out of astonishment and joy. Because his death was beneficial to the devatas were joyful and showered flowers. Sanatan Goswami writes, the boys were amazed at the huge size of the demon and how easily Krishna killed him. They praised him because they could not really understand how it happened, and because he had killed an invincible demon. The boys did not speak of the killing of Vatsa in Braja. It was not so astonishing among many astonishing events. Or because they were absorbed in playing, they forgot immediately. Later, when Baka was killed, they remembered. Quote, "We have told the story at some time." So now, here's a major chapter, or portion of a chapter, from Gopal Champu, and it's entitled Destruction of Vatsasura. So that the format, the structure of Gopal Champu is a dialogue between two brothers, and in the audience hearing these two brothers speak is Nanda Maharaj and the residents of Braja. They're narrating, Madhukanta is narrating Krishna's pastimes. So the day is beginning early in the morning. As in the previous days, the talks began. Snigdhakanta spoke. After describing their pastimes while they were extremely young, we will describe their pastimes at the end of their tender Kumara age. So we had some extended discussion about what's standard, beginning and ending of Kumara age, and what worked for Krishna. And so he's not yet 5. He's 3 years, 4 months or so. In my heart, I worship Krishna's and Balaram's age of Kumara, in which they gave up drinking breast milk, in which their limbs became well formed, in which their restlessness became prominent, and their long eyes trembled during play, during which they contentedly laughed and were absorbed in interesting pastimes, during which they became the source of pastimes for all their friends and strongly desired to see the calves. Balaram was white with blue cloth, and Krishna was blue with yellow cloth. They became skillful at tying the milking ropes and rattling the milk pails. They were fickle in playing and imparted various emotions of love to their friends. They gradually learned to dress themselves. With effort, Krishna put on the cloth given by his mother, and then, thinking he could tie it, rejected his mother's help. He became embarrassed on only being able to half-dress himself and would put on his clothes as quickly as possible. Little boys. When Nanda would go out with the cows, Krishna and Balaram would go with him and wander about in all directions. The boys would sit on the lap of Nanda, or all the people who came to the forest out of affection for them, and would ask about the objects in the forest, giving joy to all. Saying boldly, "I will go first," though forbidden to do so, they would take 2, 4, or 6 cows, herding them in front, and go off playing. Incessantly laughing, they would run while herding cows and bulls, and would stop them by grabbing their horns. They would stop 5 animals at a time. When some days had passed and mealtime had passed, Yashoda began scolding Nanda with affection. "Are you not doing something unprecedented by taking the 2 boys to the forest?" When Nanda asked permission from Yashoda and Rohini for the boys to go to the forest, the mothers refused, causing the 2 boys to feel cheated. They became shy and sorrowful. Being prevented, the 2 boys cried with anxious hearts. One time, they secretly departed in order to join their father and give joy to their companions. But, not recognizing the right path, they met in a pasturing ground outside of Braja and began playing like herds of calves. Understanding the active nature of the boys, Nanda and Yashoda again considered with minds fearful, in order that they could preserve happiness. Quote, "Since the 2 boys cannot remain without association of the cows, let them take care of the calves at a place close to Braja." This is a slightly different presentation than what I'm used to narrating, but it's very nice. Privately considering the matter with his brothers, who knew mantras, and finding an auspicious day through priests, he, that's Nanda, had the boys begin herding the calves with the chanting of auspicious mantras such as Punya Havachana. The great cowherds happily gave their young boys the duty of protecting the calves. The 2 boys appeared beautiful, after being bathed, dressed, and fed by their mothers, while holding sticks, milking ropes, flutes, and buffalo horns. When leather shoes were brought for him, he refused them, saying, "No, no." Using them would be a blow to the dharma of respecting the cows. Seeing Krishna act in this way, Balaram also rejected the leather shoes. Considering the shower of nectar from those feet, the earth removed all the thorns from that place and made the surface into dust, fine like pollen, by having the cow's hooves break it into small pieces, so that Krishna would wander with his feet in Vrindavan. In this way, Vrindavan, free from insect, pests, and thorns, is praised in Harivangsha. With the appearance of the fine footprints of Krishna's lotus petal feet everywhere, everyone became filled with bliss. I will now return to the present topic. Oh, that was a preamble. When the boys departed for herding the calves at the auspicious moment, servants who defeated devatas and caused all auspiciousness, carrying ingredients like splendid betel nut, colorful umbrellas, chamaras, and silk cloth, followed after the boys and experienced indescribable inner happiness. Starting with their mother and father, at every door the excellent women offered grand wealth and performed aratrika with jewels, shining like lamps. They sprinkled the boys with fragrant flowers and glorified them with auspicious songs. They satisfied the boys with a profusion of befitting sweet words. With wide eyes they saw the boys in front of them. The two boys then departed after offering respects to the elders, while experiencing the skill of faultless sounds of musical instruments. The devatas performed the same activities. Dressed in blue and yellow cloth, Krishna and Balaram appeared glorious among the children and calves as they played flutes, canes, leaves. You made musical sounds using leaves. Horns, ropes, balls, and wooden puppets. They had their hands full. Looking at the boys in the distance with tenderness, the pious elders then returned home. After going some distance, Krishna, Balaram, and the boys first let the calves wander freely, and then put them in a group and brought them to a place filled with fresh grass. The boys there played until lunchtime. The two boys played their flutes, scattered fruits about, and went here and there making sounds with their ankle bells. Imitating bulls, they fought with each other, winning against the opponent with great affection. Taking support of friends, they fought each other with great noise. Having the calves eat the grass and drink water, Krishna and Balaram then inspected all of them. Among the calves, he hugged one with his arms to relieve its itching, and, touching its forehead with his own, he said, "If you want to go to your mother, I will arrange that." With such useless words, he satisfied the calves. After the two splashed water on their friends, they put on special forest clothing and, wandering about, became astonished on seeing the wonderful animals and birds. When the two boys imitated the sounds of an animal, that animal would approach them. When they imitated the roaring of lions and tigers, seeing the animals become frightened, they stopped making those sounds. Happy because women sent by their mothers arrived with lunches at noon, Krishna quickly called his friends by playing his flute, whose notes sounded like human words, in order to give them bliss. When they all gathered, the women honored them, put them in lines, and had them sit down, placing Krishna and Balaram in the center. Since the boys desired to eat, the women then served them the food in proper order. For fun, some of the boys criticized the food. They argued with the women, and some of the women answered back. After the amusement of hearing the conversations, a qualified nurse spoke to Krishna, and he seemed to refuse the food in order to give pleasure to the servant boys who could obtain the rejected food. Quote, "Carefully I have brought drinks and delicious food. Rohini has carefully prepared it and sent me. Yashoda has repeatedly ordered me that you should taste the food. You should please us three by eating." After joyfully taking lunch with friends like Rama and Dhamma, Krishna performed Achmana and the nurse gave him a golden box filled with camphor-flavored betel. She said, "O child, please follow your mother's orders, and giving up your childish behavior, return quickly home." Going some distance, considering the boys engaged in playing, she turned her head and with flashing eyes said to the boys skillful in herding the calves, "Cowherd boys, you are the life of Yashoda. Please, bring Krishna back quickly." When the women had gone, the boys fed the calves the tenderest grass mixed with flowers and headed slowly towards Braja, while dancing, laughing, and playing. The sons of Brahma. So who are the sons of Brahma? Narada, the Kumars, and the Saptarishis. The sons of Brahma praised him from the sky, and Devatas showered flowers. Krishna took the path leading home. Along with Balaram and his friends, Krishna began walking back in order to bring the calves to their pens. Gathering the calves in a group, he became joyful at this success, and seeing the beauty of the calves, experienced contentment. The inhabitants of Braja saw in front of them that Krishna was approaching. As in the morning he was decorated auspiciously, he offered respects to his mother and father, and joyful in their presence, he went to his house. After bathing, he put on fresh clothing. Quickly eating, he then became happy by milking the cows. Calling the calves by saying the mother's name, he laughed as the calves scurried to their mothers. Servants brought the abundant milk to the house. Coming to the house, he pleased his mother and then offered her respects. Going to the rooftop to rest, he gave bliss to all. Putting their sons to sleep, the mothers, surrounded by the servant boys, went to the main building to do chores. After the boys had spent some time blissfully in Vrindavan, cruel Kamsa hearing the news of Krishna's arrival in Vrindavan from spies, began to think, this child of Nanda seems to be the child hidden by Vasudeva deceptively, according to Durga's prediction. The child has taken a new body and killed Putana, whose powers were uncontestable. By greater power, my heart fears even his name. He must be killed by some trick. He has thwarted greater and greater devices. It has become useless to attack him. Calling a servant, he said, what does he have most attraction for? The servant said, he has great affection for the calves. Kamsa said, you should go to your room. He spoke to another person. Bring Vatsasura to me. He has caused disturbance even to Indra. That person, showing courage with respect, brought Vatsasura. Vatsasura stood there in a humble state, like a drop of water. As dirt dissolves in the presence of water, Kamsa's heart melted in the presence of Vatsasura. He whispered to Vatsasura, my friend, Vatsasura, please go to Nanda's Braja and then approach the boy who herds the calves and plays. Disguising yourself as a calf, attack him. Thinking, quote, one should follow the king's orders, he went to the place as ordered. At a clean place on the bank of the Yamuna called Vatsa Kridana, remember that one? Krishna, who kills such demons while caring for the calves, saw the demon who was poison to the eyes. Vatsasura began proudly wandering about with his false motives. The calves sensed his presence by his smell at a place with abundant grass and became agitated at his sight. Seeing their condition, Krishna said to Balaram in a solitary place, elder brother, have you seen a calf near the water which did not come with the others in the morning? Balaram said, no, brother. Krishna said, please examine things carefully. Balaram said, it seems to have a ferocious nature. Krishna said, O elder brother, it is a demon. Balaram said, that is true, since he is suddenly looking at the calves and at us with a cruel glance. Krishna said, if you give permission, I will kill him. Balaram said, I fear gossip from the people. These are 3-year-old boys. Krishna said, on killing him it will be clear that he is a demon. No one will criticize us. Balaram said with a smile, oh, killer of the enemy, this demon is very devious. Slowly approach him by some trick. Krishna, marked with the Srivatsa, called the calves close with a stuttering sound and relieved the itching on their throats and bellies. Playing and singing everywhere, he spread joy. Thinking he had obtained his opportunity, the demon, disguised as a calf, approached Krishna to be scratched. Showing an affectionate nature, Krishna took the calf, by its feet and tail and began twirling it around. By twirling the demon around many times, the demon lost its powers and reverted to its original form. In order to make fruits fall from a tree, he hurled the demon into a bale tree. The cowherd boys praised his grace, which was like that of a dancer, and his power of knowledge. The devatas showered laughter and smiles. One could not distinguish the shower of flowers from the shower of smiles. The devatas, raising a wave of laughter with smiles, said, "Certainly the conclusions concerning Krishna, the killer of demons, has been fulfilled." They expressed Krishna's thoughts as follows. Quote, "I'm a cowherd, and I know about cows. If anyone hides himself, I can understand the enemy of the cows by inference. Oh, enemy of the devatas disguised as a calf, how can you escape my hand? If you desire to be free, when dead, you can have liberation." Unquote. Krishna and Balaram returned to their houses, as on previous days. They told their friends to keep the He then began to consult with his ministers. "I've sent many skillful, proud people to injure Krishna, but none of them have been able to produce auspiciousness. Though I request them to fool him, my plans have been thwarted, and they are killed. What should I do?" The ministers said, "O Lord, we can take the help of Bakasura, who is very powerful. Those who know him understand that he is the wickedest of all." Kamsa said, "Yes, he is my best friend. Please send him here." And to continue tomorrow. Jiva Goswami ki jai. So we discussed this a little bit already. Looks like the plan that Upananda had didn't work, because there were calamities, and specifically even evil forces that the Supreme Lord, by his mercy, had protected Krishna and the other boys from. But there's too many disturbances, we should go to another place. But here's disturbances in the other place. So not only you take your mind with you to the next place, you bring your other, the whole guna and karma with you to the next place. But this isn't Krishna. This is his killing of demons is something completely different than guna and karma. It's his incidental pastime. The main pastime, not even he loves the cows, but the main pastime is his playful nature in his childhood pastimes, and enjoying suitable activities with each of the forms of life, because we were hearing that in the morning class about Krishna's engaging with all the different animate and inanimate and conscious and unconscious forms in Vrindavan. It's just a festival. And the killing of demons, well, that's his worldly pastimes, his Naimatika Leela pastimes, using Bhaktivinoda Thakur's terms. We discussed this yesterday, but to produce a challenge or some sense of danger, and then he mitigates the danger. And the cowherd boys don't understand how it happened. They just think Krishna is very wonderful. Their absorption is how wonderful is Krishna in so many ways. So the demon killing is incidental, along with all the other things that they would do that are just fantastic. A verse that Prabhupada regularly would refer to was an exclamation of ecstasy by Shukadeva Goswami in describing the cowherd boys' activities with Krishna. Because think about it, in the course of his Braja pastimes, who spent the most amount of time with Krishna? The cows and the cowherd boys. And the ways in which they related with one another, of course, there's all kinds of details described in Rupa Goswami's writings, the different positions of the friends of Krishna. Some this, that, they had terms and groups and the ways of engaging in exchanges with him, but all variety of loving dealings. And how fortunate they were. Krita Punya Panja, the phrase. How many lifetimes of pious activities must they have undergone? But it's not pious, it's not the material kinds of piety, for sure, because material piety doesn't take one to that position. It's devotional service. Very purposeful, meaningful, focused, lifetimes worth of devotional service like that. And what great fortune. And it goes on, of course, with other rasas and other exchanges and other activities. Never a dull moment in Braja. And our Acharya's ways of taking the subject and massaging the topic and expanding the topic. There may be some other literature like Gopal Champu where our Acharyas have written in an expanded way. Of course, Sanatana Goswami does this to some degree in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but it's not the chronological way. But there's that Gopal Champu covers. But in one sense, there's like in Canto 3, when Uddhava is recalling Krishna. First it's the Krishna Tattva, and then it's Krishna in Braja and Krishna departing Braja and Krishna in Mathura and Krishna in Dwarka. Because he knew all of those activities, having visited Braja and having lived with Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka. So there's several such, not altogether dissimilar from Ramayana, where again and again the pastimes of Ram are told within Ramayana, the sequential narrative, then this, and then this, and then this, and then again, and then this, and this, and this. And the retelling is not at all boring, it just brings to mind different moods and different loving exchanges and different features of the personality of God and interacting with others, all in a benedicting manner. You're doing a pretty good job keeping her very peaceful. You look very peaceful. Can you draw like that? Not yet? She'll learn by following. That's the idea, right? Huh? By watching you, she'll know how to do. Then when you're not there, she'll imitate. Okay. So, any discussion from those who are gathered here? And we'll do that before we go online. You have something?
So, Krishna said to the coward boys, it's a secret, so don't tell anyone. But the coward boys,
Somebody knew because they told the story later.
yeah.
They didn't keep a secret. That's what your point is? Yeah. Well, they're talkative boys, you know. He didn't want to disturb them. But sometimes you just say, sometimes, little boys say things like that. It's just even all the more reason to go tell, right? Wow, you know what Krishna did? Because their parents want to hear what Krishna did. And they like talking about what Krishna did. It's one of their favorite things is singing the glories of Krishna. They sing the glories of Krishna. And then the gopis here, and then when they're doing their chores or making butter, they sing the glories of Krishna. It's part of what they do in Vrindavan. They sing. They talk too, but they also sing a lot. Have you seen one morning we went really early to Ravel when it was during harvest season? It was really nice. You've been to Ravel, right? Birthplace of Radharani? No. One day you'll go. So it's not commercial at all, just in the midst of agricultural fields. So there's the house or the palace of Vrishabhanu where Radharani was born. And then there's right by the side, there's the bed of one of the tributaries of the Jamuna that used to flow there. And on the other side of that dried up riverbed, there's an agricultural field. And so that particular morning, real early in the morning, the sun is just coming up. So they're already up doing their harvesting of whatever they're harvesting, wheat, I guess. And they were thrashing the wheat. And they were taking big bundles and going like this, and going in a circle and singing songs. And they're just having a good time. They're working, but they were singing, I don't know what they were singing. A village song of something kind, but imagine in Krishna's time, they're singing songs of Krishna. Maybe they were also singing songs of Krishna, I don't know. But it's just, that's the simple life. That Krishna is at the center and they're singing about Krishna. And it's not like they have to go learn some songs from a songbook. It's just part of their culture, part of how they live their life amongst one another. And so the cowherd boys did the same thing. So don't tell. They maybe made a song about don't tell and went and told. And this one of the mother so and so, she laughed and she told her friends, and the glories of Krishna spread like that. Anything else? Yeah.
So you said that Krishna plays till lunch.
Krishna does what?
Plays till lunch and then he goes back home.
Something like that. I mean, it doesn't say exactly after lunch they went home, but he kind of dilly-dallied a little bit. They were having fun. Probably didn't go like straight home. So what's your question? Why did he go home after lunch?
No. So I thought Krishna played till dinner.
Yeah, but he's a little boy now. He's just 3 years old. So he doesn't stay out all day. Later with the cows, he's with calves now. Later with the cows, he stayed out all day, came back in the evening. Okay?
Guru Maharaj, you mentioned that Vatsasura came with false motive. And I was thinking motivation is so subtle and it almost seems like tar, like really tough to get rid of these subtle layers of motivations that are impure. And almost seems like this force that impels us. We want to be devotees, but inside there are these motivations that are just not so pleasing to Krishna.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time, or is there any way to catch our motivations?
Hurry the process? That's your question?
I find them to be so subtle that I find them hard to catch.
Well, a couple of things. Because your consciousness is becoming more subtle, you're now connecting with the fact that there are subtle things. Or say conversely. Before such things were operating, but they weren't even noticed. As consciousness becomes more refined, some of the grosser ones are gone, and some of the more subtle ones are now appearing when they didn't even know they were there, and so forth. It's kind of like cleaning. And there's clean, and there's what Prabhupada calls summit cleanliness. And to make something really clean, it doesn't quickly happen, and even anyway. The cleansing process is twofold. Consciousness becomes more subtle, and therefore the subtle things can be detected, but just as the grosser things have been taken care of by the bhakti process, the subtle things will also. It doesn't mean complacency, or we're going to be speaking tomorrow, and over the weekend about enthusiasm. So it has to be an ongoing enthusiasm. That's life. The life of a living entity, the life of bhakti, and the enthusiasm will both make one's consciousness more subtle and more capable, and the bhakti process will become more effective on the strength of that enthusiastic effort. And the subtle, although they're elusive and subtle, they'll also be removed. Not by our effort alone, but by the all-powerful Krishna. You have more. Okay.
I found that dialogue between Krishna and Balaram very interesting when they were trying to decide whether to kill him or not. And Krishna said, once we kill him, it'll be clear that he was a demon, and then no one will criticize us. So on this theme of sometimes that in the long term, truth does prevail.
Yes.
But in the short term, sometimes we might be misunderstood.
Yeah.
So what does it take to have that sense of security in tolerating the short-term misunderstanding? how to be fixed during that time frame when.
Well, shelter and intelligence. And it's not 1, 2, 3. Sometimes more clear, sometimes less clear. And sometimes we have to, recalibrate and so forth. Or it's not so clear. But to stay the course, we want to continue remaining focused on. The goal is that Krishna should be pleased. And that's the direction. I'm going to be speaking about this tomorrow. With the goal of the question is stay the course is relying on descending mercy, following the spring and the intelligence. I mean, Christian prayers speak like this to have the intelligence and the strength to do the right thing. That's the bhakti principle. We're dependent upon Krishna for the capacity to stay the course and to adjust if we need to adjust. As one gets more refined intelligence, then it's really good to recalibrate, kind of like navigating the ship across the sea. Am I clear what the goal is? And, the wind may have blown me this way, and the waves may have blown me that way, and so you recalibrate because you want to make sure you reach the goal. Not just being right, it's reaching the goal. It's Krishna. You have to be flexible. At the same time, careful.
I have a question, an application point from what you were sharing.
Okay.
You touched on it in the last part of your narration. And I was appreciating, to just take a bigger picture perspective, setting aside for a moment that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just from a Vrindavan and Vrindavan residents' perspective. And since their childhood, every day there is almost a life-threatening event. There's a demon out to kill either Krishna or Balaram or the boy. Every day, something or the other.
One of the commentaries I just read is 2 or 3 times every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
And from a sadhaka's perspective, like Krishna's grace and Guru's grace, there's no life-threatening issue every day, but there are difficulties. But just the way the boys are, just so happy to be with Krishna. And in one sense, in between all these life-threatening events, and perhaps even in the life-threatening events, they are able to extract so much of joy, happiness, and sense of safety and security in being with Krishna. And it's just very, very amazing. That there are moments where they're afraid or something happens, and then very next moment they just proceed as if nothing happened. And it's just so charming, strengthening at the same Krishna is also accessible to us, not with that intensity.
And the dangers aren't the same degree of intensity either. Yeah, this is what you're touching on is similar to Prabhu Madhuri's question. No, Prem Rasa's question about joy. Joyfulness. The sense of being connected, that's where the joyfulness is. and obstacles and things, but you know, the connectivity is so strong. You know, and many lifetimes to get there, but it's so strong. And they're in the association of others that are just like that. So, yeah, bring it on. From different positions. Then what's speaking abilities. Okay. Anyone else in the room? Because otherwise we'll go online.
There's just one online question so far by Uttama Bhakta Prabhu. He asks, just curious, scriptural knowledge has been preserved by disciplic succession for thousands of years. How did places of Krishna's pastimes get lost and had to be rediscovered by Goswami?
Time. The exalted personalities were there, but their influence had, by time, diminished, and the numbers had also diminished, and so lost. But you know, how does anything get lost? Time. The influence of time. So say it again. Some acharyas certainly knew, but you know, by and large, the people in general are not being necessarily influenced by those acharyas like at other times, and so lost to external vision.